The Gender Construct by Action Potential Fitness, narrated by Zita Dube-Lockhart. You may have encountered the term social construct when hearing about transgender acceptance. While common for many of us who engage in equity work, this term is still unfamiliar to many without a background in social justice, sociology, social psychology, or anthropology. Because we often fear what we don't understand, people may respond poorly to the idea that gender is constructed. For many, the first step to acceptance is understanding. A social construct refers to a concept that was created within a culture or social group as part of the set of rules this group has accepted as the current norm. They develop organically in reflection of the dynamics of the group and influence how people perceive, interpret, and behave in various contexts within their society. It is normal to see these rules as facts because they are often taught that way. Social constructs are human inventions that are culturally specific, representing the social consensus of a group. They are not evidentiary fact. By definition, they are mutable and adaptive in reflection of the needs of the social group and are designed to help us understand the world around us. They largely influence our worldview and are often tied to social structures of power and inequity. Some examples of social constructs are social class and economic currency, including money, the value of labor, and status, government and a society's concept of justice and law enforcement, race, disability, age, health, and social stratification based on how the body presents, how it is used, and what it is or is not able to do. Gender and the roles, behaviors, activities, and attributes considered appropriate based on gender classification. Social constructs are the building blocks of society's structures and systems. They are intertwined, act upon each other, and evolved based on our interpretations, observations, and perceptions of the world around us. But they are not facts and are inherently designed to change along with our understanding of the world. As humans adapt, learn, grow, and shift their dynamics, the blocks are updated and replaced, like renovations to our social structures. Social constructs are essential to social functioning, but can become problematic. A social construct is neither inherently good nor bad. It is the natural outcome of individuals finding ways to function as a collective. However, they often contribute to inequity as they are defined and reinforced by those with more power and influence. Many people have a vested interest in preserving the status quo, even in light of new information. This results in harm being perpetuated on members of society who deviate from what is considered the norm. This results in stigma, bias, stereotyping, discrimination, and social exclusion. As a social construct, gender has been largely defined by patriarchy, the belief that men are biologically designed to hold power and authority. North America's understanding of patriarchy is deeply tied to its historical roots in racism and European colonialism, industrial capitalism, and traditional Christian values, which have collectively shaped societal norms and power structures that privilege male authority and dominance. It is intricately tied to racism. Patriarchy, racism, capitalism, and religion are lenses through which information has been analyzed for thousands of years and has dramatically biased our scientific inquiries and social understandings. Many of the things that we believe are facts are in fact the outcome of these biased lenses. Gender and sex are often confused. While sex is biological and typically refers to the anatomical and physiological features of a human being, the belief that there are only two sexes, XX and XY, has been long disproven by the scientific community. Sex is determined based on the chromosomal makeup, gonadal development, hormonal influences, and phenotypic appearance of a person. A person's sex cannot be definitively determined through appearance, and there are more than two sexes. Reviewing and revising false information happens all the time in science. For example, Brontosaurus, whose name means thunder lizard, is not an actual dinosaur. It is actually a mix of Apatosaurus, meaning deceptive lizard, and Camarasaurus, meaning chambered lizard, due to the hastiness of paleontologist Othniel Charles Marsh. However, many of us who grew up with Brontosaurus representations are unaware of this change and continue to use the term. That's the result of social construction. Gender is not a scientific fact. In fact, it's not even a biological fact. Gender is a concept that we apply to people based on our interpretations of observable information and our perceptions of what those observations mean based on our personal, social, and cultural understanding of the world. While we can observe things like external organs, aesthetics, physical features, behaviors, and social dynamics, the values we ascribe to these, including the words we use to describe them, are socially constructed. Gender refers to the social norms and expectations we place on people in relation to the assumptions we make based on the external representation of internal biological factors. Humans have a tendency to understand the world through a process of categorization. These categories are based off of what is most typically witnessed, but are never fully comprehensive. Categories change based on new information. While science updates names, concepts, and categories based on new information, these changes can be slow in making their way into our everyday understandings. However, as seen with the Brontosaurus, just because we believe something to be fact doesn't mean it is. How do we know that gender is a social construct? Well, everything about how a society functions is socially constructed. There are no rules to human behavior and beliefs, except the ones that have developed based on our social consensus. Some social constructs are more mutable than others, but there are some easy ways to test social constructs based on their flexibility and variability across different cultures and historical periods. The scientific foundations we relied on to construct gender have been disproven and shown to be incomplete. Where we once believed that there were only two chromosomal combinations available, XX and XY, with only occasional variants, we now know that there are several different variations of X and Y combinations, many of which go undetected. Put simply, our understanding of male and female is built on incomplete and inaccurate science. The social definitions and expectations of gender vary significantly across cultural groups and social settings. Despite the fact that humans have largely similar appearances in every area of the world, the values, beliefs, and perceptions around what these sexual appearances mean varies greatly. These variances reflect diverse cultural, historical, and social contexts that shape unique gender roles and identities in each society. Every society and cultural group in the world has seen changes in their understanding of gender. Individual fluctuations of gender interpretation exist within cultural groups. These values and beliefs we internalize as young children are environmentally dependent. Even within similar social contexts and cultural contexts, individual interpretations of gender have always existed, and gender identity has always been subject to how each individual member of a society engages with the concept. As social norms change and new information becomes available, other socially constructed structures and systems respond. Social constructs are dynamic and interdependent. They act upon each other and respond in accordance to the pushes and pulls of social demand. Some constructs are so deeply embedded in our social understanding that they overtake other structures and force them to adapt. Many of today's constructs are being reevaluated based on our social values of human freedom and equality. These beliefs are so deeply entrenched in our core beliefs and values that they are propelling social change through government policies, law, and evolving social standards. But it is important to understand that this is a relatively recent social shift, and that the structures of patriarchy, racism, and capitalism, which rely on the beliefs that some people are inherently better than others, are resisting to these changes. These conflicting beliefs make it difficult for us to reconcile new information that challenges the way we see the world. Having your core beliefs challenged is an uncomfortable and often unsettling experience. We are designed to be apprehensive about the unknown and to resist changes that we see as disruptive to our way of life. However, confronting and reassessing our core beliefs in the face of new information is essential for personal and societal growth, fostering a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in an ever evolving world. Understanding identity. Key to understanding identity is understanding that it too is dynamic and evolves over time in response to personal growth and changing social dynamics. Identity is the way each individual perceives themselves in relation to the world, including their roles, relationship, and group memberships. Identity is constructed in response to, among other factors, our personal experiences, observations, and self perceptions, our social context and how we are perceived by others, and sociocultural dynamics/, intersecting factors. A person's sense of identity can only be truly defined and understood through self definition. While external factors and societal influences play a role in shaping identity, the process of self definition remains central to how individuals understand and define themselves. For many North Americans, identity is profoundly influenced by cultural beliefs around individuality, self determination, and autonomy. Gender is, in many ways, a dual and reciprocal interaction between how society defines us, or external factors, and how we define ourselves, or internal factors. The interaction between these factors is dynamic and fluid, influencing how individuals perceive themselves and are perceived by others within cultural, social, and institutional contexts. Recognizing this interplay is essential for fostering inclusivity and understanding the diversity of gender identities and expression. When a person's internal sense of identity is threatened by external factors, such as non acceptance or erasure, there are serious adverse mental health outcomes, including invalidation. The external invalidation of one's identity can lead to feelings of invalidation, rejection, and emotional distress. Confusion and doubt, where individuals may experience confusion about their self concept and identity, leading to self doubt and questioning their own feelings and experiences. Identity conflicts, which may trigger internal conflicts as the individuals navigate between their authentic self and societal expectations or judgments, and cause stress, anxiety, and growth stagnation because the discrepancy between our internal identity and external validation has been tied to low self esteem, depression, self harming behaviors, and even suicide. Gender dysphoria refers to the distress that arises from a conflict between an individual's experienced or expressed gender and the gender they were assigned at birth. Gender affirming care refers to medical, psychological, and social interventions designed to support transgender individuals and mitigate the impacts of gender dysphoria. Legal recognition of gender identity, access to appropriate health care, and protections against discrimination are crucial for supporting individuals with gender dysphoria. Reducing societal stigma and promoting acceptance of diverse gender identities can improve the mental health and well being of those experiencing gender dysphoria. In summary, let's review social constructs. Social constructs are beliefs, not facts, and are designed to change in reflection of our needs and social realities. They are built upon core beliefs that are often biased and rooted in power dynamics. Core beliefs are deeply ingrained and resistant to change, which is why changing social constructs takes time, even in light of new evidence. A look back at sex, which is defined by chromosomal makeup, gonadal development, hormonal influences, and phenotypic appearance. Science has factually established that there are more than two combinations of these factors and therefore more than two sexes. A person's sex cannot be accurately observed or assessed through external presentation. Our understanding of gender is built on a false understanding of sex as a binary of male and female. Finally, gender is the word we use to describe the roles, behaviors, and expectations we have for people based on the assumptions we make about their sex. These assumptions can be shown incorrect based on how a person's understanding of who they are and how they feel. A person's sex cannot be accurately observed or assessed through external presentation. Gender dysphoria is best addressed through gender affirming care, including medical, social, and psychological supports. Some final thoughts. Accepting a person's sense of self and personal identity, including but not limited to their gender, is one of the healthiest and most loving things you can do for them. Every individual has the inherent right to the dignity of self identification, to being treated with justice and equity by society, and to experience a sense of social belonging and community.